Whether that play Hey, it's Annika here with Sniff Dog. Do you have a resident cat that you are super scared to introduce your new dog to? Or vice versa, do you have a dog and you're trying to adopt a cat and not quite sure exactly how to do those initial introductions? I'm here today to help. At Sniff Dog, we're here to teach you how to speak dog. If you can have a better understanding of your dog, you can have a relationship built off trust and fun. We want to come on this wonderful journey of pet ownership with you to help empower the love and connection between you and your pup. I want to give a quick and loving viewer shout out to Jones the Wine. Thank you so much for sharing all of our videos and for liking things on our Instagram. We really appreciate the support. If you want to be featured in our YouTube videos, please make sure to comment on our content and make sure that you tell us what you want to learn more about. Also, don't forget to download the training tip sheet. I made it for you with all of today's tips in a pretty little PDF file for you. So listen, introducing a cat and a dog is not an easy task. It can take a long time to do so safely, and I want to make it really clear before we even get started into today's content. If your dog has any history of aggression towards small animals, particularly cats or rodents, it's very important that you don't just watch this video and then do what I tell you to do. You do need to seek the help of a professional, certified, force-free dog trainer in person to be able to get the support that you need to keep all animals safe in your home. So please know if you are that person. Continue watching for some extra tips, but do not replace this video with in-person help. Okay, so you're wondering, why is this such a big deal and why is it going to be so hard to get control of your dog around a new cat or a cat that they are meeting for the first time? It's pretty easy. Dogs like to chase little furry things that move. Cats like to move fast and they are more flighty, which entices a dog to chase it. A dog's instinct is generally to chase fast-moving furry things. Now that chase might be prey drive driven, it might be play driven, it might be curiosity driven, but the drive in a dog to chase the cat is going to be something that will be difficult for you to compete with and train new manners around. And so we take this very slow. There are multiple steps and we're just gonna make sure to follow the plan and not rush, because if you rush it, it does risk somebody getting hurt. And let's be honest, most cats that I know are very good at taunting dogs, so it's not always the dog's fault if things are not going well with the integration of a cat and a dog in a home. We are going to work today on teaching your dog what you do want them to do when they see the cat or are even a little bit enticed to chase the cat, and also give you some tools to make sure that your dog understands what behavior is not acceptable as well. What you're gonna need for today's video are a bunch of breakable tiny little treats, a leash, a baby gate, or a crate. Let's get to tip number 1. Manage your home to keep all residents safe. What the hell does that mean? Well, basically what I'm saying is, do not just bring the cat straight into the house and hope for the best, and vice versa if it's the dog that's coming into a home with a cat in it. The best and most safe way to introduce two species, such as a cat and a dog, is to start with forced separation. Now that might mean you have 8 baby gates going on throughout your house to keep all of the rooms separated, or so that they can't have constant access to each other, or any access to each other for that matter. Or that might mean that your dog is in a crate or the cat is removed to a different room with a door shut. But we have to make sure that the dog and the cat cannot reach each other unsupervised or unplanned at any time, especially if your dog has high prey drive. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, but when do they see each other? Well, they really shouldn't see each other at first. My hope for you is that we can do, whether it's a couple hours or a couple of days of scent exchange, where the cat's in the bedroom 1 hour and then the dog's in the bedroom 1 hour, and they switch out who's in the common spaces and who's in confinement somewhere. That way the dog is getting to know the cat smell and the cat is getting to know the dog smell without actually having to see each other, and they can hear each other obviously throughout that time, which is also going to help with the integration process. Once you've done either a few hours or a few days of this scent exchange, room exchanging, and letting a different animal roam at different times throughout the common spaces of the house while making sure there's no accidents and no errors in the management plan, which is to have doors shut and baby gates shut so that they cannot pursue a game of chase, which would potentially end up in a very unsafe situation. You can start to have your dog in a crate or a pen in the common spaces with the cat walking through it, so that your dog can see the cat but not necessarily reach the cat. The same can be done through a baby gate, but you want to make sure that your dog can't jump over the baby gate or that the cat's not inclined to jump over the baby gate. That would not be safe. So it's best done in an enclosed space like a crate to start, so your dog can be chewing on a bone in the crate crate, and also noticing the cat walking past. Now, just be careful. If your dog's a resource guarder or doesn't want the cat coming near them when they're chewing a bone, that might actually ignite more conflict. Okay, so whether you've done a couple hours or a couple of days of scent exchange and swapping who's in what space when, while making sure management does not fail, as we have to make sure that they cannot reach each other without supervision or it being planned, you can start to have your dog maybe in their crate with the cat having access to the same space so that your dog can notice the cat and not actually access the cat. One of the best ways to get these two species to live harmoniously together is at first get them used to observing each other's behavior, body language, and movement while they are safely confined and separated from each other. If you have glass French doors in your house, that's another great way to do it so your dog can see the cat moving in the other room but can't rehearse any behavior that involves chasing, charging, or reacting at them. Now, if your dog is in their crate, observing the cat, walking past them, or walking in a different room from their crate, and they begin to get agitated, barking, growling, lunging at the door, you might need to take it back a step to where they were separated, they couldn't see each other, but they could smell and hear each other. Don't rush that step. That might take you weeks. Some people really live in that situation for weeks in order to make sure that it's a slow enough integration that the dog is slightly desensitized to the cat's smells and sounds by the time they ever have to see the cat. All right, warning signs and body language that you do not want to see before progressing to tip number 2. We do not want to see fixation. If the dog looks like this when they see the cat, you're in trouble. You want to see that they're like,
oh god, there's a cat there. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna go back to my bully stick, my calm, my interactive feeding puzzle, or my nap in my crate or behind the baby gate.
They shouldn't be fixated or really, really locked in on the cat. The lock and load is what I call it. It basically means they're gonna charge the cat if they have the chance. It can mean that, it doesn't always mean that. Other body language you do not want to see is hackles, which is their hair standing up on the dog or the cat. This is more of a warning body language to see. A dog should not have its mouth closed with their tongue flicking out over and over while staring at the cat. That can be a warning sign as well that they're a little bit too enticed by the cat's movement. We want to see a loose, open, happy face dog mouth. The more open, the more relaxed your dog is. Maybe some stress panting to be relieving some of that excitement around the cat being present. Anything that's just more loose, waggy body language. No fixation, no mouth closed with lip licking, no hair standing up, no growling, and no barking should be noted if you're going to move to the next step. Stick on step 1 for a lot longer if you're seeing any of those behaviors. And again, I highly recommend if you're in any way worried, get professional help in your home rather than just using this video to help you integrate your cat and your dog. Tip number 2 is to reward all calm behavior in shared spaces. Now, you're ready for this step only if your dog is not fixating or looking too worried about the cat. The best way to do this is on short, positive intervals. After your dog has had adequate or even a little more than normal mental enrichment through training, puzzle feeding, or chewing on bones and Kongs, and physical exercise so that they're physically tired as well, you can do an exposure session. And what an exposure session looks like is basically your cat can be held by somebody or stationary on a couch or a bed or a resting space or a perching spot. And ideally your cat's in a calm mood too. You will bring your dog out on a leash and a harness to make sure that you are in control. When you bring them into the shared space with the cat, as soon as they look at the cat, you can either yes and feed them for anything calm. If they're standing still looking at the cat, you can feed them. If they're sitting and looking at the cat, you can feed them. I wouldn't get stuck in that step too long because we actually want to reward your dog for acknowledging the cat and then encourage them to disengage from the cat and look at you. You can do that by asking them to watch you. So the game is supposed to be done with really high value food. I'm talking cheese, hot dog, delicious meaty chunks of anything, something that will trump their potential prey drive or instinct to move towards the cat. As soon as you walk into the cat space, yes and feed them for calm behavior while looking at the cat and progress very quickly to asking them to watch you. Say watch me, make lots of noises. When they look away from the cat towards you, yes, and then feed the good stuff. Repeat that for about 30 seconds to a minute. They look at the cat, you cue watch me, they look at you, you yes and feed. Over and over and over. What they start to realize is, okay, looking at the cat the first few times caused the food. I kind of like to see a cat. But right away, they need to learn that looking at the cat means that they need to look at you to collect the good stuff. We're trying to teach an opposite behavior to moving towards the cat. Remember, their instinct is to move towards furry things. So we're trying to compete with their instinct and get them to refocus on us. They're on a leash and a harness that you are holding to make sure that they don't rehearse the problem behavior of pursuing the cat in the first place. We do not want to give them any chance at all to practice chasing. Once they figure out how fun it is to chase a cat because the cat runs away, that behavior is more likely to happen again. So we want to eliminate any opportunity for them to chase the cat from the get-go. Now, after successfully doing this, maybe for 30 seconds to a minute, remove the dog. The cat is ideally just hanging out in one spot, cleaning themselves as they do. When you remove your dog, all the food should stop so that they don't get any food until they come and play this game with us again. That's gonna leave them wanting more of this game where they're encouraged to look away from the cat. Now, when they're in the other room, make sure that they get really nice and calm before you start again. If at any point you bring your dog out and they bark, lunge, growl, or fixate, or lock and load, remove them. That's not going to be a successful session if they're that obsessed with the cat or worried about the cat. So if you get any negative reactions at all, end the session. Maybe try again half an hour later or even the next day when your dog is again in a very calm mood. If you're not getting any of those behaviors that are problematic, you can keep doing a few sessions of play the game, look at the cat, look at me, feed, and removal for a couple of minutes to keep them calm. Repeat that over and over and over. And what happens over time is your dog just figures out, okay,
when I'm around the cat, if I do these behaviors, good things happen for me.
I would not recommend dropping the leash or elongating the length of time that your dog is exposed to the cat unless they're totally passive and neutral about it. Keep in mind, we haven't facilitated a greeting. We don't want the cat and the dog to say hello nose to nose before your dog is completely calm for a few days at least. We're not rushing that process. We need to make sure that they are totally over the cat and don't really care about it before they get anywhere near nose to nose. Dogs can hurt cats in a matter of seconds in a really dangerous way, so we just don't take that lightly. Definitely put a lot of time into tip 1 and tip 2 before progressing to an actual greeting. Quick note, I want you to start playing this game as far away as you can from the cat. So if your cat's eating their meal or cleaning themselves and resting 10 feet over here, start as far as you can in the opposite direction because having a lot of space will set your dog and you up for success with this exercise. Now, when you are not doing this training game, they should be separated again from room to room the way they were in tip number 1, and they won't have more and more access to each other until we're sure your dog is super calm around the cat. Every day that you play this exercise, you can try to get closer and closer, maybe a foot at a time, to the cat and see, can my dog still exhibit this self-control and just notice the cat and look at me and it not be a big deal. Things are going to trigger your dog and set them back or worry you a bit in your training is if the cat all of a sudden jumps off the perch that it's on and runs across the room, it's likely to ignite a reaction from your dog. Your dog is very likely to be okay with this protocol with the cat not moving, but as soon as that fast movement happens, that's when their instinct to chase might kick in. So if your cat jumps, remove the dog right away before they go into that play mode or prey mode. I will also just say that if you have any worry at all around your dog not doing so well once they get really close to the cat, or you want to make sure to keep the cat safe, you can absolutely muzzle your dog for the first few weeks that they have actual interactions that are close enough for your dog to do any potential damage. You'd first need to get your dog used to a muzzle, but you could absolutely employ the use of that tool in order to make sure that everyone stays safe in this situation. All right, let's say you're feeling really good about it. Your dog and your cat are getting closer and closer together. You can start to play this game with your dog on their bed. Give them a place that you want them to be. You can give them a Kong or a bully stick, something else to focus on when the cat's hanging about on the other side of the room. All the while your dog is on leash and on a harness with you holding it in control to make sure that everybody is safe. Once they've spent some time in a shared space together and your dog has been trained to watch you instead of move towards the cat, or is in a calm position on their bed with something to entertain them, you can start to let the cat move a little bit more without managing your dog, or let your dog go towards, closer and closer towards the cat and see if we get any sniffing or anything like that happening. Overall, you want to reward all calm behavior your dog offers, and if they get a little wound up or hyper, you can remove them into a different room or cue them to their bed or cue them to watch you. Now, if you don't already have those skills under your dog's ability abilities, you need to train, watch me, and go to your bed and stay likely to set yourself up for success in this training protocol. All right, let's get to tip number 3. Remove your dog for lunging or going after the cat. Now, if it hasn't been totally clear already, we're trying to give your dog a new set of skills to compete with their instinct to chase, such as go to your bed, or what I've discussed most in this video is watch me. Watch me instead of chasing the cat. There will be times throughout the integration period where, you trust your dog now not to hurt your cat, but he still sometimes gets ignited to chase. And if you want to deter that behavior, there has to be consequences for your dog doing that. All I would recommend for that is not to shame, punish, hurt, scare, or use any gimmicks or correction methods to scare your dog into no longer chasing the cat. Remember, your dog's just being a dog. He wants to chase the fast-moving thing, but we need to deter from that behavior because it does, probably scare your cat. Or if you have an evil cat, which some of you certainly do, your cat's like,
I got him in trouble again.
When your dog does go for the cat after they have been interacting calmly for the most part, I would simply do a timeout into an isolation space. So if he goes for it, I would say, hey, some kind of strong interruption word to interrupt the pursuit. Go get your dog if he is pursuing the cat, and then calmly, kindly, and confidently take him into isolation, whether that's in the different room, the crate, a pen, or behind a baby gate, and just keep him there until he's totally calm before reintroducing them again. I would also recommend, to avoid any conflict from happening in the first place leading to a timeout of this type, is to feed them totally separately. So lifting the cat's food so the dog can't eat it, or entice the cat to leave their bowl by bullying them away from it, and vice versa. Any shared resources on the ground, such as food, can ignite conflict between two species. Another 2 tips that will prevent you from having to do too many timeouts for your dog lunging or chasing your cat is to make sure that you're facilitating play dates with other dogs. Your dog needs a play outlet so they're not chasing your cat as their only opportunity to play on a daily basis. The other thing is, if you're not exercising your dog enough, chasing the cat is a wonderful outlet for that energy. So make sure, even as you bring a cat into the home, that you increase your dog's physical exercise so that when they are in a shared space with your cat, they're already just tired. I've already said this a little bit, but I'll just remind you, you can also give your dog puzzles and interactive enrichment toys, Kongs, bully sticks, bones, things to do when in the shared space with the cat. I haven't said this yet, but I do think it's important you recognize that you should be timing out your cat too. If your cat's being a jerk and is totally taunting your dog, the cat needs to be removed for short intervals so that the cat learns that that behavior is not polite or gonna fly in this household. Friendships between cats and dogs can absolutely happen. I always love seeing cats and dogs coexisting in a home. Sometimes it takes a long time for that relationship to develop, and you might be stuck doing these protocols for 6 months before you really see that type of relationship happen between them. But I would just recommend, for safety purposes, you take this whole thing really slowly. Don't rush it. You can time out either animal into isolation or a confinement space if they're misbehaving in each other's shared space. I haven't said one of the most important things, which is that your cat always needs a safe place to go. Whether that means you have a cat door installed in the house, or you make sure there's lots of perches for them to get to where your dog cannot reach. That is super important, because if a chase game ensues and you can't reach your dog in time and the cat has nowhere to go, it can happen that your dog accidentally hurts your cat in play. So the cat always needs a safe place that they can escape to where the dog cannot reach them. A couple of things I want you to avoid to make sure that you're setting your cat and your dog up for success. Don't rush the training. Do not replace this video with a training session in person with a force-free trainer if your dog has any high prey drive issues or history of aggression with small animals. Do not be too hard on your dog. This is a hard behavior for them to stop doing. It's difficult for them to learn a new habit in the first place. And absolutely do not leave them unsupervised together. Please, that is a very dangerous situation. Okay, folks, that's it. That's all. I hope this helps and keeps you all safe and having fun. I hope that your cat and your dog learn to be the best of friends. That is truly a special and unique friendship to watch blossom. Please feel free to tag us in photos or videos online of your dog and your cat developing this relationship. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We release videos every single week. Press the notify button so you find out when they come out. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, like, share, and tell your friends on Facebook about us. We're new here. We've got lots of videos coming your way and courses. Don't forget to enjoy the bloopers. It's usually a little bit of f***ing both. I'm not quite sure how to do the initial introductions. are very good at manage. Manage.